65. How do I conduct an internal investigation of an employee accused of misconduct?
Internal investigations must always be handled discreetly. That sounds obvious enough, but too often investigations appear to be public shaming sessions where employees who are accused of wrongdoing appear to be punished without having been accorded due process. Accordingly, follow these 5 rules when conducting internal investigations. Give accused employees their day in court. In other words, provide them with specifics regarding the charge against them. Follow the who, what, where, when paradigm, and list any witnesses who may have observed the inappropriate acts that are in question. Hold all investigator meetings behind closed doors, and include only those individuals who have a strict need to know. Whenever possible, department members and subordinates should not know of the accusations or the results of your investigation. Involve the accused employee's supervisor so that the supervisor is aware of the problem and can monitor the situation on a daily basis. Only involve witnesses and expand the circle of your investigation if an employee accused of wrongdoing refutes a charge. If that employee admits to the charge, then no further investigation is necessary. Share the results of your investigation with the employee who originated the complaint. Assure the person that no retaliation will result. In a similar fashion, share the results of your investigation with the employee who was accused of wrongdoing to close the loop and to allow that individual to come to terms with the results of your investigation. Tell me more. The easiest way to demonstrate how to conduct a proper investigation is to look at an example of how not to conduct an investigation. A telephone utility company learned from a department secretary that the secretary's manager might have made inappropriate comments of a sexual nature to her. The utility followed its policy for handling such hostile work environment complaints. The manager's supervisor brought a box to the manager's office. The manager was instructed to place his company badge into the box, along with his laptop, cell phone, and the keys to his company car. That manager was immediately placed on administrative leave and instructed not to return to the workplace until further notice. This was done in front of the manager's subordinates. When the manager asked why this was happening, he was told that a complaint had been made against him and that he would hear from the utility's EEO officer the next day. The manager naturally asked for more specifics but was told to simply go home. Not knowing the nature of the complaint, the manager assumed he was about to be fired. His subordinates assumed the same thing. After a long night without any sleep, the manager spoke with the utility's EEO officer and finally learned of the accusations made against him. Apparently his newly hired secretary had complained that he had made inappropriate remarks to her during the interview. Specifically, she said that he said, "I want you at the end of their meeting." She stated that he had winked at her in a suggestive manner. She stated that there had been no witnesses but that she had felt uncomfortable. The manager readily admitted to this. In fact, he told the EEO officer, "Sure, I said that, but she didn't tell you the second half of the sentence. I told her I wanted her because her prior experience in another division of the company made her the most qualified person for the job. I offered her the job later that day after I checked her references with her then current supervisor. I don't recall winking at her, but I may have. It certainly wasn't done with any underlying message on my part, that I can assure you. The EEO officer found no wrongdoing and apologetically explained to the manager that being placed on administrative leave and having one's ID card removed was simply a matter of company policy when such claims were made. Unfortunately, the damage was already done. Subordinates questioned what had occurred and wondered whether their boss was really at fault. The manager felt humiliated when he returned to work the following day. And the secretary who lodged the complaint worried that others would accuse her of exaggerating her claim in order to get her supervisor in trouble. The company's response was obviously not commensurate with the alleged wrongdoing. Furthermore, all the histrionics and public flogging could have been avoided had the organization simply asked the accused manager for his side of the story in private before placing him on administrative leave. Remember, an investigatory leave is a tool to use once you've learned both sides of the story. If you feel that interviewing witnesses is necessary and that the manager's presence could bias your fact-finding mission, then place the manager on administrative leave for a day or so while you meet with witnesses. Don't do what this utility did, however, by using an administrative leave as a perceived punishment in and of itself. That's inherently unfair to the individual in question and creates a corporate culture based on mistrust and authoritarianism.